Hello and welcome to HevSel Weekly. In this week's episode, we will talk about the recently raging fires in LA, the new 100-year-long mutual defense agreement between the UK and Ukraine, the passing of famed director David Lynch, and the possible Marburg virus outbreak in Tanzania. Without further ado, let's get started on this week's headlines. The Los Angeles wildfires, ignited on January 7, 2025, have devastated Southern California significantly. The Palisades fire, originating in the affluent Pacific Palisades neighborhood, rapidly consumed over 23,700 acres, marking it the most destructive fire in Los Angeles history. Concurrently, the Eaton fire began in Eaton Canyon within the San Gabriel Mountains, burning over 14,000 acres. Investigations suggest that faulty power lines from Southern California Edison may have sparked the Eaton fire, leading to multiple lawsuits against the utility company. As of January 16th, the wildfires have resulted in at least 25 fatalities and the destruction of over 12,000 structures. The fires have forced the evacuation of more than 200,000 residents, with 15,000 responders mobilized to combat the fires. Firefighters have achieved partial containment of the Palisades and Eaton fires, while the Hearst fire nears full containment. However, challenges persist due to water shortages for fire hydrants and the forecast of continued critical fire weather conditions. Economic losses are estimated to reach up to $275 billion, potentially making these wildfires the most costly natural disaster in U.S. history. The war in Ukraine continues to escalate, with Kiev launching what it describes as its most massive attacks on Russian targets to date. Strikes hit deep within Russia, targeting ammunition depots, chemical plants, and industrial facilities, some as far as 1,100 kilometers from the border. While Ukraine celebrates these actions as a significant blow to Russia's war capabilities, Moscow claims its air defenses intercepted several Western-supplied missiles, including ATACMS and Storm Shadows. Meanwhile, the situation on the ground remains dire for Ukraine. Russian forces are advancing rapidly in the eastern regions, cutting off critical supply routes and capturing key strategic points. This grim reality has driven Ukraine's leadership to make difficult decisions, such as reallocating Air Force personnel to bolster its struggling infantry. On the diplomatic front, the UK has reaffirmed its unwavering support for Ukraine by signing a landmark 100-year defense pact. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, during his visit to Kiev, committed to strengthening Ukraine's military and economic resilience for what he says is as long as it takes. The agreement includes a new mobile air defense system funded by Denmark and designed in the UK, ongoing troop training, and collaborative development in maritime and drone technology. Tanzania is grappling with a suspected outbreak of Marburg virus disease, also known as MVD, which has claimed 8 lives and infected 9 people in the Kagera region, according to the WHO. Symptoms among patients include severe headaches, high fevers, vomiting blood, and later-stage bleeding from orifices, with an alarming fatality rate of 89%. The outbreak's spread across 2 districts suggests significant geographic dispersion, with Kagera bordering Rwanda, Burundi, and Uganda. The WHO has warned of a high regional risk, despite a low global transmission potential. Investigations point to fruit bats as the likely source, a common reservoir for the virus, but cross-border travel remains a concern. Efforts are underway to trace contacts, isolate cases, and contain the outbreak, building on lessons from a prior MVD event in Tanzania in 2023. Despite the announcement of a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas set to commence on Sunday, Israeli airstrikes have continued in Gaza. The Hamas-run health ministry reported that overnight strikes resulted in at least 62 fatalities, including 12 individuals in a residential block in Gaza City's Sheikh Radwan neighborhood. The Israeli military has yet to comment on these reports. The ceasefire deal, brokered with the involvement of international mediators, outlined a phased approach, beginning with a 6-week truce, the release of 33 hostages by Hamas in exchange for several hundred Palestinian prisoners, and the withdrawal of Israeli forces from specific zones in Gaza. However, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has stated that the cabinet will not convene to approve the ceasefire until Hamas drops its new demands, leading to uncertainty about the deal's implementation. Meanwhile, the ongoing airstrikes have resulted in significant casualties and heightened tensions in the region. David Lynch, the visionary filmmaker renowned for his eccentric and enigmatic storytelling, passed away on January 16, 2025 at the age of 78. Born in Missoula, Montana in 1946, Lynch began his artistic journey as a painter before transitioning to film in the late 1960s. His debut feature, Eraserhead in 1977, quickly became a cult classic, setting the tone for a career marked by a unique blend of the macabre and the unknown. Over the years, Lynch directed iconic films like Blue Velvet in 1986 and Mulholland Drive in 2001, both celebrated for their strange and dreamlike quality. He also created Twin Peaks in 1990, a TV show that became a cultural phenomenon. Thank you for tuning in to Hefsel Weekly. We will be back next week at the same time with more updates from around the world. Until then, stay informed and take care.